I need to get this off my chest because I feel like this video has been a couple years coming. I don't hate Sasuke as much as a lot of you think I do. Listen, I don't love Sasuke as a character, and I would have written him in a substantially different way than he was written in Naruto. I think he's moody. I think the majority of his wins were handed to him. I think the majority of his power was handed to him. I think he misunderstood Itachi's life goal. I think him deciding to join the Shinobi Alliance during the 4th Great Shinobi World War only to try and kill Naruto at the end was weak. And I think genuinely he would have been a much more interesting and compelling character if he was in the majority of Naruto and if he had stayed with Team 7. You can write a moody character who was born with a bunch of talent being upset about their scruffy up-and-coming partner who they were supposed to be stronger than getting as strong as them and keep them in the story. And while there are moments of Naruto and Sasuke's rivalry that are incredible, a lot of those moments peter off in Naruto Shippuden, which I genuinely believe was Sasuke's worst half by far, because pretty much any plot development that we got for Sasuke whatsoever disappeared after Naruto. And while the Sasuke retrieval arc was incredible and probably one of the greatest arcs in anime history, Sasuke kind of just becoming this symbol of edge and revolt against the system in Shippuden didn't hit the same way as when he lived within Konoha, because understanding on a day-to-day basis what Sasuke is going through and his motivations for getting stronger gave us a better window into the look that was Sasuke's character, and seeing how his interests, which were solely focused on killing Itachi, slowly were outweighed by his friendship with people like Naruto and Sakura and Kakashi, made for a genuinely compelling and interesting character. However, after a certain point, Naruto chasing after a person who's tried to kill him multiple times just started to feel unrealistic. And as a young kid watching Naruto, I began to resent Sasuke for this, because Naruto, Sakura, Kakashi, the entirety of Konoha were genuinely trying their hardest to bring back Sasuke. And even though Sasuke lives his life as a war criminal for 5 or so years, he has to go through next to nothing when it comes to punishment because he joined the 4th Great Shinobi World War as an ally, even though the motivations for joining the Shinobi Alliance massively outweighed joining Madara. So yeah, I've spent all of the years I've been making content talking about how I believe Sasuke is an overloved and overhyped character. But genuinely, I've actually found myself deeper in this opinion than when I started. Because while in the beginning of my content career, I had a slight dislike for Sasuke, I now genuinely find myself in the deepest parts of my dislike for Sasuke. And that's not because Sasuke's character has gotten worse over the years. In fact, Sasuke's character has gotten better. While I do believe that Sasuke is a terrible parent in Boruto, most parents in Boruto are terrible parents in Boruto. So holding that against Sasuke is kind of dumb. And on top of that, Sasuke was the only person on Earth with the capabilities to battle against the Otsutsuki, as he was the only person with dimensional travel that would allow him to travel to where the Otsutsukis were in other dimensions. And while I think he could have stopped by home a couple more times, that's not the worst thing about his character. And even now in modern day Boruto, Sasuke is actually becoming one of my favorite characters. Between Sasuke Retsudan, a story about how Sasuke and Sakura have to break into a prison, and Sasuke admits all of his love for Sakura and makes her a ring and freaks out when she gets trapped under rubble. And what happened with just before the time skip was Sasuke being willing to not believe his own memories, which were rewritten by Ada, in order to believe his daughter, who was begging for his help. Now, well, technically, we have learned that the second that Ada's brainwashing went off, that was the moment you could break people out of it, because everybody, the second that Ada brainwashed them, doubted the new memories. However, as time progressed, the memories became more and more concrete. So giving all of that credit to Sasuke isn't great. He was just the only person talking to somebody unaffected by Ada's brainwashing. It was still a cute moment between father and daughter. Even in moments like the Family Day light novel, when Sasuke had to focus on how to connect with Sarada as a father and daughter, I thought that was cute, because Sasuke, by his own admission, hasn't been in Sarada's life enough. And while I've sat here and made many videos speculating about how after the time skip, Sasuke will be dead, which I absolutely believe, well, a part of that might actually come from a bias that I have towards Sasuke's character. I believe that Boruto as a whole is at least slightly better with his presence. I just believe Sasuke dying is a thematic and logical conclusion to come to in Boruto. And because I've spent a lot of years besmirching Sasuke's name, a lot of people have this idea that I have this burning, unshakable, unquenchable hatred towards Sasuke, that if I ever saw him on the street, I would jump him. When in actuality, that couldn't be further from the truth. So today, I want to tell you my true feelings on Sasuke, and more importantly, why this video is being made today. But before we get into all that, guys, please, for me, like this video, subscribe to the page, and hit that noti bell. And if you love hearing my true feelings on some of your favorite anime characters, guys, please follow my other channel, The Weeb Commander, where instead of talking about Naruto and Boruto, I talk all other anime. And if you just love the idea of me talking about anime in general, then you're gonna love my anime podcast, We Talk is Anonymous, where me and Danny Mata break down everything that happened in anime this week. It's available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So Sasuke, my least favorite character in all of Naruto, and genuinely that's actually fair. And genuinely, now that Sasuke's character is progressing further and further into a positive direction, he actually may not even be my least favorite character in Naruto. That might be Obito? I don't even know anymore. Because here's the thing, I disliked Kabuto for a really long time, and then I did a full deep dive video on Kabuto, and it made me realize I actually kind of like Kabuto's character arc. And while, like, obviously the Dragon Sage mode thing was stupid, and just like with Sasuke, I feel like he didn't get enough punishment after the 4th Great Shinobi World War, but at the same time, he was just an orphan who was always trying to chase after somebody else's dream, and therefore, when he tried to cobble together a new dream for himself, he actually just ended up taking components from other people's. Very symbolic. And I didn't like Obito for a long time because I felt as though his reasons for starting the 4th Great Shinobi World War weren't that great. Like, obviously, I don't believe that Obito started the 4th Great Shinobi World War for Rin, but then I realized that Obito kind of spent his entire life as a puppet for Madara, being controlled from a young age. But at the same time, Obito so many times throughout his life could have just been like, hey, I'm back in Konoha, I survived. And be like, hey, Kakashi, what was that with you stabbing Rin? Like, I don't, like, just open dialogue. So yeah, maybe it's Obito. On top of that, Obito being dissuaded from the 4th Great Shinobi World War being a bad idea in like 3 seconds by Naruto was so thin. I get talk no jutsu, but still. But regardless of the character that I hate, I definitely spend no more time talking about a character I dislike than Sasuke. And that's because he's the co-protagonist of the show, if you could call him that. And a large amount of the fan base absolutely adores Sasuke, and you guys love that I hate him. And like I said, I don't love him, but here's the thing. I recently was emailed by somebody who pointed out to me that in the beginning of Naruto Shippuden, when Sasuke was about to use Kirin, that there was no clouds in the sky. And I thought to myself, that's actually really funny, because Sasuke trying to use Kirin with no clouds in the sky wouldn't work. For those of you who don't know, Kirin works by Sasuke pulling actual lightning out of a thundercloud, which means in order for Sasuke to pull off Kirin in the first place, he has to create thunderclouds. Now, the way that he does this is either through usage of a massive fireball jutsu or Amaterasu, depending upon where Sasuke is in his journey to power. Because by creating a massive hot spot, he creates a hot front that collides with a cold front, which creates thunderclouds, or something like that. I'm not a meteorologist. But because of this, it's actually very difficult for Sasuke to use Kirin in the first place. And it's why it's kind of a one-hit wonder. See, because after Sasuke uses Kirin, the thunderclouds dissipate. All of the lightning has left them. That's not how thunderclouds work, but still, because I am a meteorologist. Which means that after Sasuke uses Kirin, he has to once again either fire a giant fireball or Amaterasu into the sky to create more thunderclouds. There's an insane amount of prep that goes into it, which means in this moment in the beginning of Naruto Shippuden, when Sasuke was looking as though he was about to use Kirin, the fact that there was no thunderclouds above him because it was a blue sky means that he quite literally couldn't. Now, some people have been in the comments of that video being like, no, it would just take more chakra to summon the lightning, which isn't true. And I don't actually even know how they came to that conclusion. Because Kirin is a very simple jutsu, one of the simplest. It is simply Sasuke pulling lightning from a thundercloud and directing its path towards a target. And the reason it's so powerful is 1, because it travels at the speed of lightning, and 2, because it's not ninjutsu, which means that it can't be absorbed by things like a karma marking or a Rinnegan, or blocked by things like a Yata mirror, which is why when Sasuke hits Itachi with it, it almost kills him. Because if Kirin was ninjutsu, and therefore you could summon it from cloudless skies, the Yata mirror would have reflected it. As we all know, the Yata mirror that Itachi Susanoo holds has the ability to reflect all spiritual or physical attacks, meaning any ninjutsu, genjutsu, and possibly taijutsu launched at the Yata mirror is reflected back. And therefore, no thunderclouds, no Kirin. Now, obviously, because this is Sasuke and I like making fun of him, I saw this and I went, maybe Orochimaru stopped him because he didn't want him to embarrass himself, which made some people upset. See, here's the thing. In actuality, Sasuke using Kirin with a cloudless sky is more definitely than not a plot hole. Listen, I love Naruto more than you, probably. But that doesn't mean I can't acknowledge its flaws. And honestly, this is an important societal lesson for everybody. Just because we enjoy something does not mean we cannot acknowledge its flaws. And there are flaws with Naruto. And the biggest flaw with Naruto, plot holes. See, here's the thing. Kishimoto wrote an incredibly sprawling, grand, and wide universe. And the problem with building an incredibly grand and wide and sprawling universe is that it requires a lot of work and a whole lot of continuity. Therefore, maybe the first time that Sasuke went to use Kirin, the stipulation that thunderclouds were required wasn't created yet by Kishimoto. It didn't really matter because Kishimoto knew that Sasuke wasn't gonna use Kirin there. And thus, with the addition that thunderclouds were necessary later on, it kind of makes this moment when Sasuke was gonna try to use Kirin when he definitely couldn't, a plot hole. Now, technically, is it way more fun to say that Orochimaru was stopping Sasuke from embarrassing himself because he knew that Sasuke had no lightning to strike at Team 7? Absolutely. This is why we make theory videos. They're way more fun than being like, hey, some questions aren't answered in Naruto. Of course, I could look at this moment and be like, plot hole, but it's way more fun to see Orochimaru be like,
Oh, my son's about to embarrass himself. Let's get him out of there.
and because I posted this video on TikTok, very clearly joking, mind you, a lot of people, specifically one child, have been taking that video and been going like,
Oh, no, he wasn't trying to use Kirin here at all.
which is a wild thing to say objectively. The reason that people are coming at this video somewhat hostilely is because they genuinely, and I mean genuinely, believe that I think Sasuke is stupid. Here's the thing. Once again, I don't love how Sasuke's character is written, but I fully acknowledge that Sasuke is the strongest Uchiha ever. In fact, that's not even a debate in my mind. No person who's ever watched and enjoyed Naruto should believe that any other Uchiha outside of the possibility of Sarada in the future is stronger than Sasuke. Even 3 Rinnegan Madara is probably weaker than adult Sasuke. You know, pre-stabby. When it comes to chakra control, Sasuke is probably the 3rd best chakra control user in the history of Naruto's universe. Sakura has inarguably the greatest chakra control out of anybody ever, outside of, you know, like Hagoromo and Momoshiki and Kinshiki and Ishiki and all them. And then right below Sakura is probably Naruto, because Naruto was not only able to learn the Rasengan immediately, but also pull off something that neither Kakashi or his father Minato was able to do, and add elemental releases to the Rasengan. And while obviously this just started as him adding in his wind release, this slowly developed into Naruto adding every kind of release, Kekkei Genkai included, to his Rasengan. But Naruto took it one step further than that. He upgraded his Rasengan to make it a Rasen Shuriken, which is considered the highest level of shape transformation in Naruto, period. Now, outside of those two, Sasuke is the greatest. See, we know that Sasuke's chakra control is absolutely insane because he's able to put people like Sakura in the war arc under Genjutsu, something that she's all but become immune to as an adult, but pulling it off in the war arc is absolutely insane when we consider the fact that she had fully unlocked her Byakuya seal, which is one of the most difficult things you can do chakra control-wise. Now, sure, you could say a large part of this is tied into the Rinnegan and the fact that Sakura didn't think that Sasuke was going to put her under Genjutsu, but at the very least, caveats or not, Sasuke putting Sakura under Genjutsu is still impressive. Not to mention his shape transformation control is also very impressive, as not only is Sasuke able to control the shape of his Chidori, forming it into things like Chidori Spear, but he's also able to control the shape and form of his Amaterasu. Now, while a lot of this is tied into the fact that he has Kagutsuchi, being able to master Kagutsuchi is what we're tying into chakra control. And when it comes to mastering Kagutsuchi, Sasuke definitely did that. Sasuke is basically able to do whatever he wants with Amaterasu, whether it be coating the ribcage of a partial Susanoo, creating a Susanoo arrow tipped with Kagutsuchi, blending his Amaterasu with a wind-style Rasen Shuriken that wipes out entire battlefields, or even going so far as to use his Kagutsuchi defensively, having it shooting spikes all around him to kill anybody trying to attack him from all angles. Everything about Sasuke's chakra control is impressive. Not to mention that Sasuke's offensive output is actually probably higher than that of Naruto's. At least it was during the war arc. See, after Madara and Kage are all defeated and Sasuke decides that it's time to kill Naruto for some goddamn reason. See, what's annoying about that entire thing is that Itachi was saying that Sasuke has to kill Naruto because Naruto was his best friend, and therefore for Sasuke to get stronger he has to unlock his MS, which requires the death of Naruto. At this point, he had his MS, he had his EMS. So once again, Sasuke completely misinterpreted everything that Itachi ever tried to do for him. But then again, Itachi wasn't exactly laying it on the line. But while Sasuke was trying to kill Naruto, that's my ear, Naruto and Sasuke clashed all of their strongest ninjutsu together to see who was going to come out victorious in this presumed death battle. Now, while it looks as though Naruto and Sasuke are evenly matched in this battle, and for all intents and purposes, they are, Naruto does technically have a slight advantage. See, every single one of the elemental releases is weak to a different kind of elemental release. Fire is weak to water, earth is weak to lightning, and so on and so forth. But of all of these matchups, wind is actually strong against lightning for some reason. I mean, they had to give both of them a weakness and a strength, and I guess that's just the way that it worked out. It's like Fairy being strong against Dragon in Pokemon. Some things just needed to happen. But because Wind-style elemental release is strong against Lightning-style elemental release, Naruto technically always has an advantage in battles against Sasuke, as Wind is his elemental release, while Lightning is Sasuke's. Not to make two Pokemon references in a row, but it's like when you choose a starter in Pokemon, your rival will always choose the type that's weak to your starter. You choose fire, they choose grass. You choose water, they choose fire. Because the main character is supposed to win. And therefore, in moments like Naruto and Sasuke's second battle in the Valley of the End, Naruto technically kind of has an advantage. Now, one could very much make the argument that Sasuke has the actual advantage here, as he has 8.5 tailed beasts, but elementally wise, Naruto has the advantage here, which is why in moments when Naruto throws his 2 biggest, baddest Rasen shurikens from his Kurama Asura mode that had 3 heads and 6 arms into Sasuke's Indra's arrow, and they cancel each other out, technically that means that Sasuke's Indra's arrow is more powerful than Naruto's ultra big ball 6-pass Rasen shuriken and his tailed beast bomb Rasen shuriken combined, which is genuinely very impressive. Now, obviously, Sasuke can no longer use Indra's arrow. It required the chakra of 8.5 tailed beasts. And Naruto, before losing Kurama, could very much pull off those moves again. Sasuke does get more powerful after the war arc. In fact, in the beginning of Boruto, he himself states that he could solo a Kaguya-level threat, which Naruto technically does on the moon against Toneri, but we don't know how Toneri and Kaguya technically match up against each other. Which is kind of the problem of all Otsutsukis and their scaling, is that they never battle each other, and their battles are all very different. But considering the fact with the power of the Tenseigan, the Toneri was able to throw the moon, and Kaguya got sealed in a moon that she couldn't break out of, it's not crazy to assume that Toneri might have been more powerful than Kaguya. But once again, we don't know. What we do know, though, is that Sasuke gets more powerful. So when Naruto and Sasuke were both at their respective peaks as adults, there's a possibility that Sasuke was still more powerful than Naruto. Now, did it really play out like that in the battle against Ishiki? Not really. But the real reason that Naruto was able to hang in that fight against Ishiki longer than Sasuke is because Naruto has a regenerative healing factor, which Sasuke doesn't have, which actually speaks to his durability and his stamina. On top of all that, while Sasuke more likely than not did get Sage of 6-pass chakra, he really doesn't have any outside chakra source to tap into. And he is just an Uchiha. He's Indra's reincarnation, but Indra's reincarnation just gets mastery and ocular prowess, not Hagoromo's life force like Ashura's reincarnation. And therefore, if Sasuke is a sniper, Naruto is supposed to be a sledgehammer. And while Sasuke does get disrespected by the likes of Ishiki, he also has some incredible moments in the battle against Momoshiki and Kinshiki, who he takes on simultaneously by himself for a little bit. And while obviously Sasuke's stamina in Boruto is always getting dogged on, as it feels as though pretty much every single time he opens a portal, he's chock out of chakra, we don't know how much chakra it takes to do things like space-time ninjutsu. And using Naruto as a barometer for chakra feats is just cruel to the people around him. Even comparing him to his wife is kind of cruel, because Sasuke doesn't have any way to either gather up chakra or some infinite chakra source to tap into. Naruto is not only part Uzumaki, he is also Ashura's reincarnate and the Jinchuriki of the entirety of the Nine Tails. Yes, comparatively to Sakura in Naruto, Sasuke is always gonna run out of chakra. But this is very similar to how we used to talk about Sakura, because yes, in the early days of Naruto, of course, Sakura was gonna look the weakest. She wasn't the Nine Tails Jinchuriki or the last remaining member of an incredibly powerful clan. She was just a ninja, and I'm not calling Sasuke just a ninja, but stamina and chakra-wise, comparatively to the other members of Team 7, even Kakashi, Sasuke is definitely the weakest in that category. See, even Kakashi now has massive chakra reserves because he got rid of his Sharingan, with Kakashi being able to maintain a quartz mud wall around an entire town for 12 hours. So yes, in comparison to the powerful people around Sasuke, it appears as though he might be falling off, but he's not. It's just the threats and the bad guys coming into Boruto are kind of problems. And that's not to mention his defensive prowess. While Sasuke Susanoo is far from the strongest one we've seen, he still does have a full body Susanoo, which is one of the most powerful defensive moves in all of Naruto. And while it might be irrelevant against people like Ishiki who are able to snag him out of it, or irrelevant against Karma users who are able to simply absorb said Susanoo, if anybody will figure out how to make Susanoo relevant again, if it won't be Sarada, it will be Sasuke. And while I do genuinely believe that Sasuke will die in Boruto, it's not like I'm rooting for his demise. Like, I believe Sasuke will die, and I believe Sasuke dying will be good for the story. But that's not because I dislike Sasuke as a character. It's because I believe story building wise and thematically that Sasuke's death will fit well in the Boruto timeline and will pay off better for all of the characters that he's involved with than him staying alive. Sarada has motivations to battle against Code. There's a possibility of an EMS on the line. It's a possibility that Sarada, by combining the 6-Tome Rinnegan with her eye, will actually be able to awaken a revitalized version of that Rinnegan. And so many other things. And yet there are people out there who genuinely believe that I think Sasuke is some drooling dolt incapable of accomplishing anything, which couldn't be further from the truth. This is actually why I was excited that Sasuke went to go train with Boruto during the time skip, because Sasuke is objectively the perfect person to train Boruto, as Sasuke was a wielder of the 6-Tome Rinnegan for almost 2 decades. And therefore, if anybody understands complicated and powerful dojutsu, it's Sasuke. And therefore, there's nobody else on Earth more qualified to teach Boruto about the Jogan than him. So do I hope hope Sasuke is dead? Do I have no faith in him as a character? Do I hate him with all of my heart? No, I just think in Shippuden he was an absent, moody, one-note character that could have been written in a myriad of more interesting and more successful ways. But I love his character arc in OG Naruto, and you've heard this if you watched my 500k special on everything that I love about Sasuke. But while the majority of the things I said I like about Sasuke tongue-in-cheek in that video, I genuinely mean. It's weird to hate fictional characters with all of your heart unless they do actual bad things. Griffith, Rudy Grey Rat, Meliodas. These are characters you can hate because they do weird, perverted, and borderline criminal things. Sasuke's just moody, and I think he could be written better, but I don't fall asleep thinking about how much I hate him, and I have a massive amount of respect for his strength in Naruto. So, now you know. So the next time you decide to send to me a long diatribe over email about how Sasuke is the greatest character of all time and how I'm completely incorrect on all of my takes about him, remember guys, I know he's a completely fine character. I know he's strong. I just don't like the way he's written, and I am completely entitled to that opinion. Now, if you'll excuse me, my dog has been pacing circles around my office for the last hour, and I think he needs a walk. Couldn't have timed that better. So if you agree with the idea of not getting irrationally angry at a fictional character, guys, please, for me, like this video, subscribe to the page, and hit that noti bell. And maybe go on a walk. With the ear, man.